Well, hi, welcome to Schenectady today in and around the capital region. And if you notice the fireworks, it's because our 16th anniversary. We have been on the show 16 years, bringing such wonderful guests to our stage and to you, our community. All of these guests make our community a better place to live in. They're working very hard for many organizations, and we're only going to be talking about a few today. With me, I have Magid PhD, and he's a professor emeritus from SUNY, and we're going to be talking about why reading is fun, but not just why reading is fun, so you pick up a book and read it, why it's important for kids 4 years old that can't read. I mean, my mother, I think probably 3 years old, I was reading.
That was the same with me. 3.5 years old. I was on to reading. By the time I got to kindergarten, 8 months before I got to kindergarten at age 5, I was already reading chapter books. But even more important than the skill in reading, I think, it leads you to the skill, is a kind of what I'll call a change in mental culture, a mental change. You know, I became a proficient reader early on because I fell in love with the book early on, the idea of the book. I was fascinated with books. And that accelerated my acquiring reading skills. My mother, to her dying day, would always say to people, Al was a very easy kind of person to teach reading skills to, because he came to it in a kind of mental frame, okay, that just opened him, and all I had to do was fill in the skill spaces for him. And so our program, in a more subtle kind of way, we're not doing it explicitly. Explicitly, we're trying to teach skills. Identifying letters, letter sounds, letter combinations.
Phonics, I hope?
Absolutely. But for parents and principal caregivers and for children, we want to get them hooked to the notion that books, reading, writing are things to be cherished.
Do you think that kids are getting lazy because they got video and they don't have to, they see, you say reading is fun, and I believe reading is fun.
Right.
But do they think reading is work? Is that the
problem?
Well,
I think, you know, looking at my university students over nearly 40 years, including 35 at UAlbany SUNY, yes, for many of them, study, learning was not fun. It was a chore, all right? And I think that inhibits the process. As I said, I really think as a first principle, getting people early on hooked to the idea of the written language. We were also in the program emphasizing teaching of conversational skills. And
how
the two
important,
are related.
because some kids only hear yelling.
Absolutely. You know, having a father say, get in the corner, shut up, I don't want to hear from you, that's not a conversation. You know, and the kid responding back, I don't want to do it. That's really not a dialogue. That's right. That's not a conversation. No. So again, I think
the dinner conversations are what's missing.
Well, you and I, we've talked about this before. I grew up in a world, people I knew, certainly at our own, we didn't have dining rooms then. We ate in the kitchen. Yeah. Okay. We sat at the table and we exchanged and we clashed lovingly. Okay.
How was your day, and what did happen?
Oh, really? You know, I like FDR, I hate FDR, I like Dewey or what have you. Here's what's wrong. You can date me.
And I don't want to eat that broccoli.
Precisely it, you know. And there was communication, okay? And then, you know, I got hooked on to reading news. I was reading the New York Times daily. My folks couldn't afford it. In my junior high, we now call it middle school, junior high school library in the Bronx. I soaked up the New York Times, you know, and
with the libraries, there's no excuse.
No, absolutely.
Not any excuse why people can't get
books. The issue for us now, I think, is essentially motivation. It's not availability or access. Now, if you're living up 500 miles north of the Arctic Circle in an Eskimo community, you might have access problems. But even there, technology is facilitative. It's a matter of disposition, of attitude. You know, I've always thought, Anne, when people tell me there's not enough money or not enough time, there's always enough money, however short it may be, and always enough time, even though we're circumscribed by a 24-hour day. It depends on where you put priorities. If you put reading or something else at a high level of priority, I can assure you, you will find the time and the money to engage in activity. If you put reading low on the pecking order, then you will have the secondary excuse, well, there's not enough time, I can't buy the book, I can't do this, and I can't do, but that's a secondary rationalization. We're trying to induce in the program, in a subtle way, not in a didactic way, the notion that these things are important. If you can buy that, then I'm not worried about your finding the time and the other resources needed to pursue that activity. You'll find it.
Now, you cannot do it all.
No.
So you are going to need some help.
We're working on 3 fronts. I've been doing this, as you know, for 18 months now, and for about a half year building this program.
And you've got support.
Oh, absolutely. We have about 40 volunteers, including 7 or 8 National Honor Society students at Schenectady High, who will be our volunteers. I haven't gone full burner on that front because we've got to raise the kids and the parents first. But we've had a response from people. It's interesting. This whole teaching of 4-year-olds is a kind of funny bone. People want to do that. They're aware of debilities, insufficiencies where reading is concerned with young people. They're aware that when young people, 4-year-olds, kindergarten, don't get on that track, all too typically, they never get on the track.
I was going to say,
and
they never can make it.
All their lives.
They're always falling behind.
They suffer all their lives. They can suffer in horrific ways, end up in imprisonment, other social disabilities, spousal abuse, but we don't even have to be that extreme about it. They will lack intellectual and cultural enrichment. They will be hurt in terms of job prospects, et cetera, et cetera. Reading is foundational. And when you think about it, it's not just foundational in our own society at this time. You know, Judeo-Christian, Muslim tradition, it takes us back thousands of years. The book, in each of those religious persuasions, in sequence, chronologically, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the Old Testament, then in Christianity, the combined Old and New, and the Quran, it is the book, it is the written word.
Written word.
So it's not like suddenly the need to
books?
read is important to us. It has always been
there.
important to us.
Exactly.
Always
And
been
the
important.
illiteracy rate is amazing in this
Frightening.
country when you look at how much we put into each student. When you look at the numbers, $6,000 a year or $10,000 a year in some schools per student, and we still have illiteracy. It's incredible.
Look, I'll give you a single statistic that when I first encountered it a year ago, virtually knocked me off my chair, okay? Incoming kindergartners in the Schenectady City School District were tested last 2013, September and October. Of 775 new kindergartners, only one numerator, 775 denominator, could identify all the letter sounds. Now, that's...
Are you serious?
I'm deadly serious.
Honest?
But I don't tell jokes when it comes to this.
No,
I do
it's
tell
just,
jokes, but
well,
no,
I know
this,
you're not.
This is deadly serious. This is a fact. This is not an opinion.
1 out of 700 and some odd.
That is a minuscule fraction of 1% can identify all the letter sounds.
There's only 26.
And I can give you other instances of data
that
collected.
just breaks my
Yeah,
heart.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And for many of these people, it'll be predeterminative in their lives. It will prefigure their futures, okay? It's very scary business. So we're doing very well raising volunteers.
And you're having a number of sessions?
Yes. And we're having sessions, and I think you're posting it.
Yeah, we've got them all listed
Okay, we
up.
had one last evening. We're having 4 more. I'm all batteries out. I'm operating on many, many fronts, trying to gather support. We have a formal, we're doing okay in raising money and can raise more. The big nut to crack is getting the kids, the 4-year-olds, and their parents and principal caregivers.
Get them on board.
We've got wonderful partners. I have a formal partnership with the school district, very cooperative, with the School District Education Foundation, too, with the Boys and Girls Club, and right across the street here, giving us office space and teaching venues, First United Methodist Church.
And we have his number up there. We're almost out of time.
That's
I
all
want
right.
to say we've got his number up there and his email address so that you can certainly check that out. I want to tell you who's coming on next week. We have John Griffin, the second, coming on to talk about the RISE program, paranormal research. We have Cheryl Lawyer to talk about the Low Vision Technology Fair. The editor of the Gazette will be on the show, and we're going to be talking about their 120th anniversary. Jim Salengo will be on talking about Wing Night with downtown improvement, and we're going to talk about decluttering. Al, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. Mwah.
You're a dear.
Good. And thank you for watching. And please join us next week, too.
Great. Everybody have a great day.
Okay.